right, ready for a deep dive. Today, we're heading way back in time to explore the philosophy of Stoicism. But before you think, oh, another history lesson, Stoicism is seriously hot right now. Why is this ancient wisdom speaking to the modern world? What does being Stoic even mean?
Yeah, it's not about being a stone-faced statue, that's for sure, though that is a common misconception.
Right, so it's not about suppressing all emotions.
No, Stoicism is way more dynamic, much more practical. It's about building resilience, that wisdom to handle life's ups and downs, finding your center, that inner strength amidst all the chaos.
Okay, inner strength, resilience, finding your center. Yeah, I see the appeal. These aren't exactly new ideas either, are they? Some pretty impressive figures throughout history have looked to Stoicism.
Absolutely. George Washington, for example.
Oh yeah, leading a brand new nation. You don't do that without serious inner fortitude.
Exactly, and he drew upon those Stoic principles, centuries old even then.
Speaking of leaders, didn't Frederick the Great, the Prussian king, find inspiration in Stoicism too? What is it about this philosophy and, positions of power?
It's fascinating, right? For someone like Frederick the Great, I think it was the emphasis on self-control. Reason, duty, those timeless principles that resonate when you're facing tough choices, immense pressure.
It's pretty amazing how these ideas cut across time and place. But before we go too far, let's rewind a bit. For someone totally new to this, what is Stoicism?
At its core, Stoicism is a philosophy of life born in ancient Greece. It's about living in harmony with nature, using reason to guide your actions, and a big one, focusing on what you can control.
Living in harmony with nature. Sounds a little abstract. How do you actually do that, especially now?
You're right, it does sound a bit lofty, but that's where the practical side kicks in. It's not just lofty ideals, it's a framework for making choices, for facing challenges, for navigating, the messiness of life.
So how do you become a Stoic? Grow a beard, wear a toga, just ponder life in the public square.
Funny you should ask. The story of Stoicism actually starts with a shipwreck. Around 304 BC, a merchant, Zeno of Citium, was shipwrecked, washed ashore in Athens, a moment of profound loss, disorientation.
Okay, picturing a very different kind of deep dive here. What does a shipwreck have to do with philosophy?
Well, this wasn't just any shipwreck, it was a turning point. It led Zeno right to the heart of philosophy in Athens, where he developed Stoicism. What's really striking is Zeno's own view of it all. He said, "I made a prosperous voyage when I suffered shipwreck."
Wow.
That sums up a key Stoic principle, finding opportunity in adversity.
Shipwreck to a school of thought. Talk about lemons into lemonade. Zeno wasn't the only big name in Stoicism, though, right? Who else shaped this philosophy?
When you think Stoicism, 3 names: Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus. These weren't just names, they lived and breathed this philosophy, each facing their own unique challenges.
Okay, so not just armchair philosophers, got it. These were real people with real problems. Let's start with Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome. Philosopher king, that's got to be a tough gig. What makes him so relevant to Stoicism?
Well, Marcus Aurelius is fascinating because he really embodies that intersection of power and philosophy. Imagine, the weight of an empire on your shoulders, constant threats, and yet he found solace in Stoicism. His writings, meditations, they give us this incredible look into how he used those ancient principles, dealing with the very real pressures of leadership.
Like a glimpse into the mind of an emperor. And speaking of navigating power, there's Seneca, playwright, advisor to Nero, talk about high stakes. What can we learn from his Stoic journey?
Seneca's life, honestly, it's like a political thriller. Advisor to Nero, facing those ethical dilemmas, court intrigue. It makes you think, how do you hold on to your principles, your sense of right and wrong, when you're in a world of such, moral complexity?
A question for the ages. And then there's Epictetus, from enslaved person to influential teacher. His story really shows how transformative philosophy can be. What makes his teaching so compelling from a Stoic point of view?
Epictetus' life, it reminds us that Stoicism isn't about your circumstances, it's about how you respond to them. He stressed focusing on what you can control: your thoughts, actions, reactions, especially in the face of adversity. Given his own life, his teachings have this incredible depth, this resilience.
He really embodied that, turning obstacles into opportunities for growth. Very inspiring. So we've got these figures, these Stoic exemplars, but what did they actually live by? What were the core principles, the virtues at the heart of it all?
Stoicism, it really comes down to 4 cardinal virtues: wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance. Think of them as the pillars of a good life, a life of purpose.
Okay, so not your typical self-improvement buzzwords. Let's break it down. What do these virtues actually look like in action?
Let's start with courage. And we're not just talking physical bravery here. Stoic courage. It's about facing your fears, challenging your comfort zones, standing up for what you believe in, even when it's tough.
I'm sensing a theme here, this willingness to embrace challenges, not shy away.
Exactly. Now, temperance, it might sound a bit old-fashioned, but it's about finding balance, moderation in all things. It's about aligning your choices with your long-term well-being, not just, instant gratification. The art of navigating pleasure and desire with awareness.
Choices for long-term well-being over instant gratification, a lesson for all of us. How about justice? Seems straightforward, but I'm guessing there's more to it in Stoicism.
You're right, justice for the Stoics, it goes beyond just following the law. It's fairness, righteousness, honesty. It's acting on what you believe is right, even when nobody's watching, cultivating integrity in everything you do.
Aligning actions with values, even when it's hard, no shortcuts. And finally, wisdom. What does it mean to embody wisdom from this Stoic perspective?
Wisdom, in a way, it's like the culmination of all the other virtues. It's about cultivating a deep understanding of yourself and the world around you, learning from your experiences, mistakes, from the wisdom of others. And for the Stoics, journaling played a key role in developing wisdom.
Journaling. That's surprisingly relatable. How does that fit into the Stoic approach? Journaling for wisdom. It's not just keeping a diary though, right?
Yeah.
How do the Stoics actually use it to, put these principles into practice?
Think of it as a daily habit, this self-reflection, self-improvement. They'd examine their thoughts, emotions, see where they weren't living up to their values, and track their progress, like a personal philosophical workout.
I like that, philosophical workout. So journaling was one tool. What other Stoic exercises did they use to build that resilience, that wisdom?
One of the most powerful, even today, is the dichotomy of control. It's about recognizing what you can control versus what you can't. Easy to get caught up in things outside our control, right? Weather, traffic, what others think. But the Stoics say, focus your energy on what you can influence. Your thoughts, actions, reactions.
Focus on what you can influence, not what you can't. Kind of like don't sweat the small stuff.
Exactly. Letting go of that need to control everything, that's where you find agency, peace of mind. Now, another interesting one is turning the obstacle upside down.
Okay, that one's new to me. How does that work?
Imagine a setback, some challenge pops up out of nowhere. Instead of just seeing the negative, the Stoics ask, what can I learn from this? Or how can I use this to grow stronger, wiser? It's reframing, seeing opportunity.
Like what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Precisely. They'd even do this negative visualization thing. Imagine setbacks in advance, not to dwell on them, but to be mentally, emotionally prepared.
Like running mental fire drills, though they wouldn't be thrown off when stuff hit the fan.
Exactly. And speaking of preparing for life's challenges, there's memento mori.
Memento mori, I've heard the phrase, but always sounded a bit ominous, to be honest.
It means remember you are mortal. And yeah, it can seem a bit morbid, but the Stoics weren't trying to be gloomy. They saw it as a reminder to, truly live each day. Knowing our time is limited, it can be incredibly motivating, clarifying. It makes you prioritize, savor the present moment, make each day count.
Life's a gift, don't take it for granted, right?
Absolutely. And exploring this all today, I'm struck by how relevant it still is. In our world, often so chaotic, uncertain, Stoicism gives us these tools for facing challenges with, resilience, wisdom, even grace.
It is pretty amazing how these old philosophies still resonate. Like it shows the human experience, our challenges, searching for meaning, it's all connected.
It is, and that's the beauty of Stoicism, isn't it? It's not a bunch of rules, it's a way of life. A life of purpose, intention, no matter who you are, what you...
So, as we wrap up this deep dive on Stoicism, what will you take away from these ancient teachings? How can these principles, resilience, self-control, wisdom, how can they help you navigate your own journey?
A good question to ponder. And on that note, I'll leave you with Marcus Aurelius. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength.
Until next time, keep seeking wisdom and embracing that good life.
Wake up, get up, power in your stride. Own your thoughts, let them be your guide. Stars in the night, they shine just like you. Changes the game, a brand new view. So it's hard, won't be torn apart. Resilient mind, powerful start. Opinions fly, but the truth lies within. Break through the noise, let your journey begin. Anger's a fire, burns you down low. Stoic heart won't be torn apart. Resilient mind, powerful start. Opinions fly, but the truth lies within. Break through the noise, let your journey begin. Stoic heart won't be torn apart. Resilient mind, powerful start. Opinions fly, but the truth lies within. Break through the noise, let your journey begin. Live each day like it's your very last. Don't get caught up in the shadows of the past. Faith throws a curveball, but you rise above. Love the hand you dealt, that's where you find your love. Stoic heart won't be torn apart. Resilient mind, powerful start. Opinions fly, but the truth lies within. Break through the noise, let your journey begin. Don't waste time, live your truth today. God shape your world in every single way. Stoic power, stoic power, rise and ignite. Stoic heart won't be torn apart. Resilient mind, powerful start. Opinions fly, but the truth lies within. Break through the noise, let your journey begin.
And then one day I'm hoping that we elite. So this book, almost 300 pages, the New York Times bestseller, the LA Times bestseller, USA Today, that didn't happen because I'm a genius. It happened because of some decisions I made. Is that clear? Look, if we don't do anything else, if you walk out of this room today, you owe you to make good decisions. Because when you make bad decisions, you destroy you. You're killing you. You're destroying you. And I told you, you live in a country that if you make good decisions, you reap the benefits of it.
I get up at 3 because it's silent. It's easier to be focused when the environment is focused. So a lot of you don't have, be honest. We're not playing no games here. Talk to Sam, we got a way to help you after this. How many of you, honestly, you are knocking on doors and grinding and making moves, but you don't necessarily have every single step written down for every single day? Just be honest. Some of y'all, you in the dark. That's the problem. So we're going to help y'all. I got a plan. We're going to work with y'all. I'm going to do some videos, give it to y'all. I'm going to show y'all really how to walk through this. Because the day I got up, and every day now I know exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. Here's what's funny. Most of you wake up and you try to make money. Listen to me. If you would make you, money would come to you. Okay, you missed that whole thing I just said. If you would make you a better person, you'd make more money. Now, watch what I do. The way people spend their money or treat their money is how I treat my time. All right, let me explain what I mean to you. I make sure that every single day in that 24-hour period that I'm getting a whole bunch of wins. So I'm supposed to be doing this at this time, doing this at this time, doing this at this time, doing this at this time. The problem with most of you waking up and you worshiping money.
Carefully consider the negative signs that people give off and immediately. There is nothing more important to true growth than realizing that you are not the voice of the mind. You are the one who hears it.
Let go of the past and let the future take care of itself. Buddha.
Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been. A life without cause is a life without effect.
The only thing that's keeping you from getting what you want is the story you keep telling yourself. Tony Robbins.
And who is able to compel you to assent to that which appears false? No man. And who can compel you not to assent to that which appears true? No man. By this then you see that there is something in you naturally free. But to desire or to be averse from, or to move toward an object or to move from it, or to prepare yourself, or to propose to do anything, which of you can do this, unless he has received an impression of the appearance of that which is profitable or a duty? No man. You have then in these thongs also something which is not hindered and is free. Wretched men, work out this, take care of this, seek for good here. And how is it possible that a man who has nothing, who is naked, houseless, without a hearth, squalid, without a slave, without a city, can pass a life that flows easily? See, God has sent you a man to show you that it is possible. Look at me, who am without a city, without a house, without possessions, without a slave. I sleep on the ground, I have no wife, no children, no praetorium, but only the earth and heavens and one poor cloak. And what do I want? Am I not without sorrow? Am I not without fear? Am I not free? When did any of you see me failing in the object of my desire, or ever falling into that which I would avoid? Did I ever blame God or man? Did I ever accuse any man? Did any of you ever see me with sorrowful countenance? And how do I meet with those whom you are afraid of and admire? Do not I treat them like slaves, who, when he sees me, does not think that he sees his king and master? This is the language of the cynics, this their character, this is their purpose. You say no, but their characteristic is the little wallet and staff and great jaws, the devouring of all that you give them, or storing it up, or the abusing unseasonably all whom they meet, or displaying their shoulder as a fine thing. Do you see how you are going to undertake so great a business? First take a mirror, look at your shoulders, observe your loins, your thighs. You are going, my man, to be enrolled as a combatant in the Olympic Games. No frigid and miserable contest. In the Olympic Games, a man is not permitted to be conquered only, and to take his departure. But first he must be disgraced in the sight of all the world, not in the sight of Athenians only, or of Lacedaemonians or of Nicopolitans. Next he must be whipped also if he has entered into the contests rashly. And before being whipped, he must suffer thirst and heat, and swallow much dust. Reflect more carefully, know thyself, consult the divinity. Without God attempt nothing, for if he shall advise you, be assured that he intends you to become great, or to receive many blows. For this very amusing quality is conjoined to a cynic. He must be flogged like an ass, and when he is flogged, he must love those who flog him, as if he were the father of all and the brother of all. You say no, but if a man flogs you, stand in the public place and call out, Caesar, what do I suffer in this state of peace under thy protection? Let us bring the offender before the proconsul. But what is Caesar to a cynic? Or what is a proconsul? Or what is any other except him who sent the cynic down hither, and whom he serves, namely Zeus? Does he call upon any other than Zeus? Is he not convinced that, whatever he suffers, It is Zeus who is exercising him. Hercules, when he was exercised by Eurystheus, did not think that he was wretched, but without hesitation he attempted to execute all that he had in hand. And is he who is trained to the contest and exercised by Zeus going to call out and to be vexed, he who is worthy to bear the scepter of Diogenes? Hear what Diogenes says to the passers-by when he is in a fever. Miserable wretches, will you not stay? But are you going so long a journey to Olympia to see the destruction or the fight of athletes? And will you not choose to see the combat between a fever and a man? Would such a man accuse God who sent him down as if God were treating him unworthily, a man who gloried in his circumstances and claimed to be an example to those who were passing by? For what shall he accuse him of? Because he maintains a decency of behavior? Because he displays his virtue more conspicuously? Well, and what does he say of poverty, about death, about pain? How did he compare his own happiness with that of the great king? Or rather, he thought that there was no comparison between them. For where there are perturbations and griefs and fears and desires not satisfied, and aversions of things which you cannot avoid, and envies and jealousies, how is there a road to happiness there? But where there are corrupt principles, there these things must of necessity be. When the young man asked, if when a cynic is sick, and a friend asks him to come to his house and be taken care of in his sickness, shall the cynic accept the invitation? He replied, and where shall you find, I ask, a cynic's friend? For the man who invites ought to be such another as thee, that he may be worthy of being reckoned the cynic's friend. He ought to be a partner in the cynic's scepter and his royalty, and a worthy minister, if he intends to be considered worthy of a cynic's friendship, as Diogenes was a friend of Antisthenes, as Crates was a friend of Diogenes. Do you think that if a man comes to a cynic and salutes him, he is the cynic's friend, and that the cynic will think him worthy of receiving a cynic into his house? So that if you please reflect on this also,